hope everybody's having a great weekend. So again, this is 50 pips, 16th of December, 2012. We're doing our usual outlook and for the week ahead. Now I'm going to try and keep it a bit quick this week because there's not really that much going on really. We've been pretty much stuck in the same ranges and grinding higher in the same direction which we were looking for the moves to take place. So in terms of the ES and broadly speaking, you know, all the moves are in play. You can watch, you can look at all the charts on the blog. We've been scaling out of some positions, so you know, pretty much I think we read it quite nicely. Now I think yen, I think we need to look at yen because this is the chart that most people would be interested in today. I think this was pretty much the most obvious trade out there this weekend, the gap up into the open tonight. Now the levels to watch here, gaps pretty much filled anyway, so there's really not a lot to talk about in terms of gaps here. But I think what I'd be focused on is how we behave in this whole 85 to 84 20s range, okay? And as much as the flows are positioning for the long side and the rotation is continuing, I think it's time after this election to look for some kind of a retracement. So the levels I would be looking at to the downside, and I think, you know, first of all, is we had this pivotal 83s, and I think broadly speaking, it's going to be that 82 level where you see where the market kept on coming in supporting, okay? So this is what I would have highlighted on my chart in terms of broader support, and I think it would be healthy to see a move back down inside this area. So personally, I think I'll be watching how we react here and how we go into Monday. Maybe we might pop a bit higher on Monday, but I'll be looking to play some kind of if we get the chance, some kind of reversal back into those 83s 82 range. Now one thing I would say is if you see price holding above the 85 level, I think this could continue to squeeze higher quite aggressively, okay? And equally, if these bids that were supporting the base here at these 82s do not support it, then I think we could be looking at a move all the way back into this 200-day moving average. That's going to start to rotate higher, but those are pretty much the levels I would be focused on going into the week, okay? And again, we've been talking about this for a long time. It's really not a high odds trade to fight flows, to fight seasonal flows, to get short in a dull market. And, you know, I've been going on about this for weeks, and I think you can see the price, the charts are proving us right on that. CAD, what's going on CAD? Well, CAD's quite interesting because we're actually riding the short side, and what we said last week, let's see if I can just get rid of these shaded areas here to unclutter the chart. Okay, so what we said last week is that we are in measured move shorts, okay? And basically, what was that? That was the high to low. We come into the 1, parity level gets sold, and this 50 back of this whole move from highs to lows is holding. And to us, this would be pointing towards a retest of these lows and an attempt to break lower all the way down into 94.30s. Now, of course, this is not a move that's going to take place in 2 days, okay? So that's the broader swing move we're looking at. And what we said is that price looked pretty heavy, and it looked like it was clearly some a lot of closing of shorts position and just a lot of offers here into the end of the year, and the market was very heavy. You can see all these candles closing at daily lows, so this is very heavy. And what we said is 98.50s are key from a weekly perspective. Close above or below is really important, and you see that's where the bids were coming on. Also, we're looking at potentially taking some scalp longs, and we said if we get the opportunity to trade the long side, where is that opportunity going to come? Well, that's going to come at the 50 back of the move from lows to highs. The 50 back is right behind those 98.50s, so if we move back below and you see bids supporting and we close above those 98.50s, then it could be a good chance to trade to the long side and get and try to scalp a bit, you know, more of a not an intraday, but for a couple of days maybe we could get a bit of a pop higher. Now I still think the line in the sand here is going to be between the 99.50s and those 98.50s. Keep in mind the bigger trend is always stronger, but the bigger trends do break. If not, price would only move in one direction. So at the moment, I'm still not changing my outlook. I still think we're heading lower. I'm looking for this week to get a close below those 98.50s, and I would suspect any press higher to find sellers. So I think to the upside, we could maybe move into those 99.50s, okay, this week. However, if we don't get a close above 99.50s, I'm still looking at this as the swing to the downside playing out. And similar to last week, if we get a close finally behind these 98.50s, then we should get more aggressive Momo to the downside. So again, upside for the week, 99.50s. Key are those 98.50s, and if we break below, then we'd be looking for a press below those 97.50s and a continuation of the swing short move, okay? What's going on gold? What's going on gold? So I really don't think the time is right to trade, to try and pick a bottom on gold. Now, what we said is, remember, we were into that 1700, 1750, 1800 range, and what we said is once this held, these 1700s held, we were looking for us to move back at 1750, which was going to be our pivotal level for more upside or a retest of the downside. Price rotates up, longs start to cover into that 1725s. We get the sellers coming in BAP. We're smack back where we started. Now, I think a lot of people are going to be looking, also because of the risk on kind of tone, what's happening on the euro, will be looking to get long here with stops below those dip lows. And this could very well work. You know, support is support, level is a level. Until it breaks, it breaks. So as long as these dip lows hold, I suspect there will be people looking to get long. Personally, I'm more than happy to miss the move to the long side, but I'll be more than interested to look at if we continue to break lower. The zone of interest for me starts at 1660s all the way into 1620s with a 1645 in the mid. So I'm still looking for potential downside. So number one, I understand that we could easily hold these lows and rotate back into the 1725s from here. I don't mind missing the move. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested at selling here either, but I could be interested in looking for longs down here. So I think any move into the 1660s, 1620s range will find buyers. And if we move back into the 1725s this time, I think the odds are for us to break back into 1750s. I think for the move down to continue, we need to keep on holding above those 1725s. Any move back above 1725s, and I think the move to 1750s could be quite quick. Okay. Euro GPB, what's going on Euro GPB? Well, basically, you know, the rotation higher is continuing. It's playing out quite nicely. We had this recent move from 79.50s all the way into 81.50s. I think I tweeted this out on Twitter too. We moved back into the 50 back of the move, 80.50, beautiful confluence, previous support, 50 back of the move. It gets bought, bam, into 81s, into previous highs. So at the moment, this move, we're looking for price to complete this current move in 81.90s. Okay, so I think here going into the week, this is pivotal. If we can't break these highs and we hold below 81.50s, I think the market will try and retest those 81s, and that should probably be a buying opportunity for those that are looking to stay in trend. If we just break higher, then I think the next test is going to be 81.90s, and I expect to see some covering there, and those 82s are going to be the pivotal level. But we're smack inside, but the rotation higher is continuing, so it's looking quite interesting. And you see here where we keep on pressing these 80.50s. It's not the first time, once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, you know, so this level, the more we test it, the more it's going to get weak, and so I would expect it to break to the upside. Cable, what's going on cable? So cable, again, this is a very nice rotation. We talked about this, called this live on Twitter, and what was happening. So basically we'd started a very nice rotation higher. We were looking at this rotation higher, and then after we completed here, we got that S&P basically UK on negative watch, which I think, no surprise to anybody really, because all the other rating agencies had it on negative, and what it actually said was that it could potentially downgrade the UK in the next 2 years, right? So I think that was just some people trying to flip a coin here, but really not a high odds play to get short at lows, not really not really a high odds play into that kind of I would call it, fake out data release, and beautiful on trend. So the latest long here, 50 back, gets bought, bam, smack into those previous highs, breaking higher. Our target on this is 62s. The real target is basically on the 123 extension is 62.10s, but I wouldn't have a problem lighting up if you're sitting long just ahead of those 62s. Remember, we've been talking about this for a long time. The chop range is 62, 61. As long as we can't break outside of that range, we still look at this to continue to trade in a choppy manner. If we break and we hold above 62s, then I'm looking for the acceleration higher to accelerate. Okay, if we break back down these 6150s right here, this is the range I'm going to put, then I think we could test those 61s, but I think it's pretty much still going to be buy the dip kind of scenario. Now, I would go back on the daily. I would just like to remind you the move, and this is another one also we talked about pretty much live, is that we're looking at is from a swing. We're in swing long, those lows to highs, front run of that 50 back into the support zone. We did this on a Sunday. We called this a level we're going to get long here, smack in line at the 200-day, and this move is looking for 165. So I'm still sticking with my 165 target on cable, and so far the intra-week, intraday rotations are playing out quite nicely. So again, another one we can't really complain on. This has been playing out quite nicely. Okay. And as much as those 165s are still in play on cable, we're still looking at euro for a move from those 127s. If you remember, you can go back. We've discussed this so many times. The rotation we're looking at is for a move back into 134 30s, 134 50s. Okay, and we've been talking about this since pretty much mid to beginning of October. You can go back on the webinars and you can look at that. And again, we had a very similar action here where just rotation higher, very nice. We had that big impulsive move down. We got sellers coming out. We kept on saying that it'd be healthy to see some kind of reversal. Personally, we were adding to longs here. We tightened up our stops. We got taken out on the trail. We were starting to get long at those 127s all the way in there. Then we got taken out at just under 130 on the trails. Bam, beautiful chance to get long again. You see this, the how technical all these markets have been. Lows to highs into the 50 back, beautiful rotation back up into that previous level, back into the 31s, and now we're breaking higher, and our target is and our target is 132.30s for this move. Okay, so and going into the week, I think again we could see some kind of retracement, but you don't want to get short a dull market. You don't want to fight the seasonality. You don't want to fight the flows. There's still a lot of people stubbornly short that need to unwind their positions, and I think this week, unless we get a close below these 31s, then I think we're still going to be rotating higher with a bit of a bid tone and buy the dip kind of rumor. But remember, we're going into the last week of the year, so you don't want to be too crazy. Be a bit cautious. We could get a bit of velocity inside the moves, but unless the big levels are broken, really no change in outlook. Okay. So I hope that was interesting for everybody. Have a super end of the weekend, and I'll catch you guys for London Open tomorrow. Have a great one. Thanks for listening, and see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.